Hey everybody, I'm attorney Mike Contant. Earlier I made a video about the benefits of sealing your criminal record. Since that time I've had a number of people say to me, alright Mike, I understand there's a benefit to sealing my criminal record, but what's the process? What are some of the requirements? How do I do it? So I wanted to make a short video to hopefully discuss some of those things and answer some of those questions. In Massachusetts, there's essentially two ways to seal your criminal record. The first is through an application to the Commissioner of Probation. In order to file this application, you have to understand what offense you're trying to have sealed. Is it a felony? Is it a misdemeanor? Is it a juvenile offense? Is it a sex offense? Because depending on the type of offense we're trying to have sealed, that will determine how long you have to wait to submit this petition. In the case of a misdemeanor or a juvenile offense, you have to wait 3 years from the time the case is all over. And that doesn't just mean the time you spent before the judge. If you got put on probation or incarcerated in some way, it's 3 years from the date of your last day of probation or being incarcerated. So you have to wait the later of those dates, okay? In the case of a felony, that time period is 7 years. In the case of a qualifying sex offense, you have to wait 15 years from the time the case is all over before you can petition the court to have that record sealed. It's also important that you weren't convicted of any other crime in Massachusetts or elsewhere during that period of time, because if you were, that can extend the period of time in which you'll be able to have that record sealed. You also have to understand there are certain exceptions that could work in your favor when you submit this application. For instance, if the legislature has changed the crime designation from a felony to a misdemeanor since the time that you were in court. So when you were in court, for instance, maybe the crime was a felony, but since that time, the legislature said, we're going to redesignate that crime, and now it's a misdemeanor. You only have to wait the period of time required for misdemeanor. You can get the benefit of that change. Likewise, if the legislature's decided to decriminalize a particular law, you get the benefit of that change. You don't have to wait at all. So if the most common example would be simple possession of marijuana. Marijuana was decriminalized, ultimately legalized. So in those circumstances, if you had a conviction on your record for that you want sealed, you wouldn't have to wait any period of time whatsoever. So you get those exceptions, those law changes that work in your favor. You also have to understand that this method will not work for certain types of offenses ever. So there's certain offenses such as gun law violations. If you're, in other words, possessing a firearm without a license is one common example. You're not going to be able to get that criminal record sealed. Also, if there's a record on there for perjury, this method will not be allowed to be sealed using this application to the Commissioner of Probation, or for crimes involving public corruption. There's a whole list of crimes that will not be allowed to be sealed in this manner. Okay. The second method which you can use in order to get your criminal record sealed in Massachusetts is a petition to the court, a petition to the judge. Now, in the event where you went through a case and it worked out in your favor, meaning the case got dismissed, or they call null pros, essentially where the prosecution's withdrawing the charges, you don't have to wait any period of time. What you do have to do is submit a petition to the court, to the judge, and you can do that right away because the case ended in your favor, and you have to demonstrate to the judge that the substantial interests of justice should require that this particular record be sealed. Now, what's that mean? In the judge's eyes, the idea is it going to really impact your life in a really negative way? I mean, you might not be able to get a job or housing or employment due to this particular record, even though it ended in your favor. Is it outweighed by the public's need for information? So in those circumstances, you demonstrate to the judge that the substantial interest of justice in sealing this record, then the judge has discretion to order that particular record sealed right away. Okay. In the case where you went to trial on something and were found not guilty by a jury, or if it went before a grand jury, they're trying to indict you, or there's a finding of no probable cause for the charges, the court's supposed to automatically seal those records as well. So if you have any questions about sealing criminal records or anything like that, please feel free to give me a call, shoot me an email, or leave me a comment below the video.